Hello everybody, I'm back with another video for you today, and this time we're going to be looking at Henselt, bit of Northern Realms. I've tried Calanth, but I just couldn't really make her work. The combos that I was seeing were a bit too bleedable, not very consistent, and just a bit weak even when they worked for a lot of them. So not really feeling Calanth, but we do have a bit of Northern Realms Henselt instead to talk about today. This is a pretty cool engine, kind of baseless, but with a lot of removal in it as well. The kind of way you've got to play these days with a bit of removal, a bit of mid-rangey stuff, and good engines as well for Northern Realms. And we've got some neat little combos that I must say were inspired by playing against Tailbot, who was playing a very similar list to this sort of thing. Those combos are Reinforced Trebuchets in round 3, potentially with your leader ability pulling them out. They force the opponent to row stack into melee, where you hit them with a Lacerate, and if they don't, then they get so much value on the Trebuchets, and, when they're not playing into that row, you can just instead play Willem and Roach to kind of fill the row up, get some value on the Trebuchets anyway, so you don't lose any value on those. So kind of some neat combo there to really push and win long rounds. Henselt as a leader, it's actually very strong. You can put 2 engines on the board at the same time in round 3. Very similarly to Dana, make it very hard to remove both of them at the same time and then get a lot of value out of it. So that's nice. We also have a load of tools in the Arbalists, Revenants, Spellweavers, Damn Sorceress, kind of all enabling Revenant and enabling Gregoire. We're setting up low strength units for the death blows, of course, and yeah, just being able to kill a lot of stuff as well with those effects is very nice. Of course, I have Gimpy, very valuable card. Sheila is there to set up damage, and because she's a mage, to synergize with Spellweavers. We have Vincent to set up 1 strength units again and deal with tall units. We have a lot of damage in just the form of Bloodlust and Ifrit and whatnot, and Vess to take out engines to set up 1 strength units again. So really, you're able to remove a lot of stuff, you're able to play a lot of engines for engine value, and you're able to really force them into row stacking so you hit them with the Lacerate. This is a strategy that a lot of Northern Realms decks do, but we also have Roach and Willem to synergize with that idea, so even more synergy than normal with that Lacerate combo. Roach for a bit of thinning, probably quite necessary. Northern Realms is very lacking in the thinning department at the moment, and Okvist as a nice little finisher, Botchling for a nice, very powerful engine that you got to throw in Northern Realms. So that's pretty much the deck. It works pretty well, I think. Maybe even one of the better, or if dare I say best Northern Realms deck I've played. Henselt might be the one to watch out for in Northern Realms. That being said, let's jump into a couple of games and see how we can do. Alright, our first opponent going to be Morvran. Let's see what we can do against this guy. I think we should be okay, potentially. Let's get rid of Trebuchet. We want to save this for later on, I think, in this matchup. In most matchups, in fact. If not all of them. As a kind of finisher with the Lacerate and whatnot. We can use our kind of bad-ish bronzes in round 1 to kind of secure it, or maybe even take a pass. This hand looks alright. I'm actually going to keep it. I don't want to draw the Roach. And we've got some cards we can play here, which is nice. Bit of mage synergy with the Spellweavers and whatnot as well. It's always cool. So let's get down Arbalist here. And then we can get into Spellweaver territory after that. Infiltrator, not the scariest card. I think we can go with Spellweaver now. Start racking those orders up. Why not? And we'll try to kill this as well. And these little engines, they get the value. 5 points from Arbalist already, 5 for 5, and getting better if it doesn't get removed. Spellweaver, potentially similar story there. Just some nice little bronze engines which pose a threat, but not the end of the world if they do get dealt with. Alright, Infiltrator again. We can just play another Spellweaver though and deal with this first Infiltrator and potentially the next one as well with Damned Sorceress. So I think we're looking pretty damn good here. We're already ahead in points as well. And with triple engine on the board, what is this Morvran doing? Playing double Infiltrator is very slow. We can definitely punish that with our tempo and just engines being set up. That's really good news for us. 10 strength Infiltrator and 11 strength Knight. Oh my gosh. Can't really do much to interfere with that, but yeah, in fact we really can't do much. We could play a Damn Sorceress, I suppose, but well, maybe Willem. I guess I don't mind Willem. It probably won't get us ahead. In fact, it very likely won't. But we get a bit of thinning with the Roach and whatnot. It's probably... Actually, you know what? Since we do have Roach, we could play Ifrit or Bloodlust, right? Maybe we should do that. I would love to kill the Infiltrator. I don't think it's going to happen, but we can push a bit of tempo here, so that's good. And then potentially set up Gregoire in a turn or two. And then fire him off. We've got Sorceress for a pretty okay 6-point play. It's not too bad. Roach providing a little bit of very nice tempo that we can punish the opponent with. Do like that. There's going to be a Traherne, that might be pulling Roach out for them. We'll see. Gonna kill Orkvist, which is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. Not the end of the world at all. We can probably go ahead and actually play Sorceress now. I kind of like it. Not the highest tempo card, but it's going to allow us to, you know, potentially set up this good old Greg. I don't think we're going to shoot with the... We'll shoot with one shot, I suppose, to get ahead. And we've also got Regis onto Roach to delete that from the game. So we want to go with those plays this round if we need to keep playing. But we're just going to take a win on even, so that's very nice. Very good news. We can play into round 2 a little bit if we choose to do that. Just to get the card from them or whatever. It might be worth throwing away Arbalist if we want pressure. But I don't mind keeping it as well. I think we can get rid of it. We can maybe play a Revenant as an opener. Maybe. It doesn't feel too great either, to be honest, but... Alright, we'll get rid of it. And in fact, playing Botchling first is probably fine. It will most likely get removed, but... You know, whatever. If it doesn't, it will pose a pretty nice threat. And hopefully with this hand, you know, pretty much all gold hand we can try to push in some way and get something out of the opponent here. Botchling going to live for now, that's very good news. I'm kind of tempted to go for the Roach actually onto this back row and just see if we can kind of bully the opponent out. We should probably go with a villain before we do that though. And if we're going with a villain before that, then we should maybe go with Sheila now. We will be able to damage this by 2 and set up Gregoire by pinging it with the Botchling. I think that's fine. Plays into Vivienne Tabri a little bit. Plays into Slave Infantry as well. But if we get Slave Infantry out, then we're able to Willem and maybe hit the Gimpy. So I'm fine with that happening. We could also just take the card now. That is an option. But I think we're good enough to pressure since our engines aren't really being answered in any way. It looks like they're actually going to use more round charges, so even better. We could just play Gregoire now, and since they shillarded it, it's actually out of range of Leo, which is really nice, so I think probably doing that is a good idea. And we'll hit the Roach, because it's a better Vivienne target. Just a slight little thing to keep in mind. We'll also switch the Botchling over now, because we don't want to take away from Vincent value onto Asaya. And we can then maybe play Villain, maybe Roach, one of those. We want to make sure we have a Henselt in round 3, of course, so not going to do anything to detract from that. Oh, a Coldwell, okay. So, yeah, let's keep pushing here. I don't see a reason not to. Botchling is going to help us maybe steal Coldwell, which is nice, and we know we're getting damage on this play as well, so... Yes, Coldwell is in trouble if he doesn't have big units. He's going to swap sides, probably. We could have also Vincented it, which wouldn't be bad at all. But I'd rather try and yoink it. If we can steal it, then we just win the game, right? So, it's kind of on the agenda right now. Sometimes a problem with Shillard, like if they have Leo in hand here, it's pretty damn bricked, which obviously isn't great for them. But we'll see what happens. We might not be able to push all the way here if we don't find a Henselt with Roach, but we probably don't even need the Henselt to win on this round, honestly. Getting Botchling value the whole time is really insane. Insanely good. So I think we saved the Vincent on the Asaya probably. Yeah, go for a bit of a Vernon Roach now. Ooh, hitting the Botchling, my friend, is not a good plan. I guess he really doesn't want me to be damaging Coldwell. But I can just flip-flop it for more points. And we'll go Roach now. Pulling out our Vess, okay, nice. We can damage... Yeah, I guess we'll do this. We'll damage him, and then we'll damage Gimpy. We want to get as much lacerate value, of course, on the back row as possible. We're probably going all in here, apart from, you know, not using our leader ability. We'll save the leader for round 3. We have a guaranteed pretty nice leader onto Kedweni Knights, for example, as a finisher. So we can bleed all the way, maybe even win this round, honestly, since we are pretty damn far ahead at the moment. Yeah, gonna be a forfeit. Not really much more Ren can do against us there when they don't have the early removal to deal with our engines. Very nice. Let's jump into another game, of course, and we'll see if we can win again. And this time around we'll be up against Usurper, so not gonna get to see our leader in action, unfortunately, but Henselt's pretty straightforward, just use him in round 3. Not the most difficult thing to master, really, is it? As for the cards here, well, I don't mind this hand. We've got a lot of playable bronzes, which you actually like to see, I think. Arbalest working well together, these guys working well together. We could get rid of Trebuchet, I guess. And then maybe one Sorceress, I suppose. Not even that sad that our leader's down. That's definitely not the worst matchup. Usurper for us, I don't think. Although, yeah, Doppler's going to be a scary starting play, no doubt about it. Let's open with the Arbalest. We want to get them out the hand. They're going to maybe be a liability later on if they die. If they get answered this round, not the end of the world. If they stick, even better. And it looks like they might be sticking for the moment. Since we don't have any kind of cards that are synergizing with, what do you call it? You know, 1 damage, death blow or whatever, then we can shoot just down to 2, that's fine. We don't have Gimpy in hand either. Maybe I shouldn't have shot them because we do have Villain in hand, which maybe we want to play. But I think this is okay. Sure, we'll play a Spellweaver or Sorceress. Maybe Sorceress is honestly better to get rid of. I think it might be. And we can take a pass, because we're way behind in points. That Gimpy was pretty nasty. But, you know, losing this round is definitely not the end of the world if we do end up losing it. I think we'll just take a pass, you know. I'm pretty sure our long round will beat Usurper's long round. If it's just value Usurper, I'm pretty sure we have a better long round with engines and whatnot. Lacerate and all that. So if they are gonna allow us to go to round 3, then we should be okay. This hand is alright. We could probably even get rid of Revenant, honestly. It might be a little bit hard to use, since it's going to be removal and stuff. I don't mind this hand too much. We could also get rid of the Spellweaver. It's probably not great. Roach, pretty bad news, but hopefully they're going to take an early pass anyway and not push this round, really. In fact, it might be a good thing we're able to commit goals this round and then keep the Roach tempo for round 3, right? Too bad. Let's go with the Trebuchet to answer that one then. Don't really mind using that resource. They're going to play around it in round 3 probably anyway, now that they've seen this, and we'll get Trebuchet value, hopefully. Or rather, Lacerate value, sorry. We don't need to worry about enabling Henselt, that's also quite nice. Alright, so we can probably just play an Infiltrator now, and if they try to push harder, we can play Botchling and then punish. There's the pass. Give them back their bad card, nice. And we'll see where we can go from here. Roach will be a mulligan, of course, and then Trebuchet is a good pickup. Revenant's not terrible, a little bit risky because it could just get answered. Sorceress is probably worse though. Roach, not a problem, that's great. So we can get rid of Revenant now, I think. This hand is looking fiery. Very fiery. Kedweni Knights are good to pull with Roach, of course. Just 8 points, not a problem, very nice. And we can also just pull multiple engines in the same turn, so that does look pretty damn good. We might need to play the villain first, because we have a couple of goals left, only a couple, right? I think we're pretty happy to start botching. Most likely it will be answered anyway, but if it doesn't get removed, then that would be nice. As happened last game, and we just completely blew the opponent out, not even a chance. Botching really is still an amazing card, honestly. Very hard to deal with a lot of the time, unless you have a lock or whatever. And that ain't a lock, that is a Doppler. Decent amount of points though, 10 is definitely not bad. So what's on the agenda next? Maybe just a Sheila. Doesn't really matter if it dies, we can just play us for a bit of damage. And the potential to damage and set up a kill on something else later as well. I think we want to damage this down because they often have Coldwell in their Usurper deck, I do believe, which, you know, we can maybe steal with Gregoire or whatever, being the highest unit. at some later stage. We might also just knock it down with Willem into whatever. Okay, we got a bit of botchling value before that came down, so that's really nice. Probably playing a trebuchet now is okay. And I think we could take the Sheila value as well. Why not? Just make sure they don't remove that. That would be annoying. Trebuchet is going to dissuade them from, you know, playing into that back row, but then we could throw Willem down there and we could throw Roach down there and get value from it anyway. And they might not spare removal on that, so we'll use removal, I should say. So we're looking pretty good. We just want to hit maybe a Vincent or Gimpy with this. Maybe Caldwell won't come down and there won't be a target for that, but shouldn't be too bad. There's a Roderick. So we probably need to avoid playing in the same row. There might be Lacerate or something coming. It's possible. Actually going to shield up. Or not. Not going to shield up the allies. Interesting. So they want to maximize their value on Lacerate or whatever they've got in this back row. Makes sense. Maybe a Regis, actually. Judging from that setup, kind of. Alright, you know what? I think Willem now is fine, and then we can get into that Roach and start going crazy with all the engines safely. And, you know, we'll hit whatever here. Doesn't really matter. Trebuchet, do your job. Very nice. I love that these cards are basically free tutors for Northern Realms. They allow you to have thinning where you otherwise wouldn't have it, right? So that's really, really helpful. So yeah, Vernon Roach now, boom. Slap it into that back row. Get the value on the Trebuchet. We should be getting only good cards here. That looks pretty damn good to me. Spellweaver and a Knight, sure, pretty high value. Roach, threatening a little bit of more setup value as well on Gregoire or whatever. We do need to worry a little bit about this Regis. I'm not sure how we're going to avoid that, if it's even possible. But right now we're pretty far ahead. Okay, maybe it was just Gregoire that they wanted to get. That makes sense. Okay, what do we got next? We could Vess, we could Regis. Kind of both of those are fine. I guess we'll Vess. Yeah, we'll Vess. And we'll hit this Doppler. Maybe there's no Regis then. If they have Gregoire there, it's probably not Regis. I just get scared whenever I see a 1 and a 2. But that's obviously what they were playing for there. So we're not that far ahead. We're not that far ahead, but we have Okvist, we have Greg still. You know, we have some good cards remaining. Ooh, this is a lot of slave inventory. Lacerate's going to hurt, though, for the opponent as well, big time. We could just take the Greg onto this, but I'm going to try... I think I'm going to try min-max on kind of the damage and whatnot here. So let's play Regis for now. I suppose it's a bit risky if they have an engine or something that we need to remove. It might just be better to go with Gregoire, but can always do him next turn, so I don't want to miss out any value. And, you know, we have an Okvist. If they have an Okvist, okay, it's kind of fair, right? Shouldn't be too bad. This way we're just going to guarantee Greg, and we should be good in that sense. But we'll see. Vreemd is huge. Vreemd is huge, and we're behind right now, so that's a bit scary. We can go with the good old Greg though now. And then potentially Okvist next to take the shield off of him. I think we're fine just kind of shooting now with the Spellweaver, not saving that damage for anything. Trebuchet got us a lot of value here. Basically a 9-point play. It's kind of insane, right? On a bronze. And forced him to row stack into this Lacerate. So that's really awesome news. Let's go with that Okvist. We can take the shield off immediately with the Zeal, and then we've got a massive Lacerate. This should be enough points to win, I imagine. The opponent could have their own Okvist, I guess, but our Lacerate is worth 14 points, which is incredible. Maybe even more now that they're playing a card here. Ooh, and a Spellweaver as well for a bit more value. Sure thing. Oh, so many points. It's beautiful. Shouldn't really matter what we shoot, right? And that's going to be a win. They are not doing 20 points of damage. Incredible finisher value. And that's kind of a showcase of how that Lacerate setup and throwing guys into Trebuchet can get you a ton of value. Very, very cool. I love this deck. I think it's pretty damn powerful as well. Albeit we did only face Nilfgaard there. But, you know. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the games and the deck. Do subscribe if you want more videos. We're nearly at 10k subscribers. Oh my God, that's a lot. Appreciate all the subscribers, guys, and all the support and whatnot. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.